Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Reservation Dogs. And this is the first season of the new series on Hulu from FX, from creators Sterlin Harjo and Taika Waititi. And Sterlin Harjo directed some of the episodes, and not really familiar with some of his work, but obviously I think most people at this point are pretty familiar with Taika Waititi. And this show focuses on four Native American teenagers living in Oklahoma. They steal, they do these little odd jobs, stuff like that, because they want to escape from reservation life and get off to perfect, beautiful California. And you have these four kids who all have different elements and different things that make them distinct in the show. You get a lot more from Allura and Bear, who are probably the two most main characters, but you also get Cheese and Willie Jack, who add on dimensions as well, because each of them have different things going on in their lives. They take on very poignant and relatable family issues, whether it's missing fathers or having a mother who's, getting around. And you throw in a lot of commentary on so many different things because you're taking a look at this life that these young people live through on the reservation and some of the things they're forced to do because their financial situations, like they're robbers, and they do stuff like that because they have to take care of themselves and find money. You have them dealing with, like I said, absentee parents, and there's one particular interesting element that Bear experiences as he sees this spirit, this Native American who's in like traditional garb and stuff like that, and there's a lot of fun interactions between them throughout the show, add a lot of dimensions. They have a rival gang in the show who they're at odds with, and their arc together is very interesting and blows off in a really inspired way in the finale. Something that's absolutely horrifying and terrible brings them all together. And it's a great final episode of this season where it's just it brings everybody together, forces them to confront their conflicts. You have a lot of fun characters along the way, like Mose and Meko, played by Lil Mike and Funny Bone. There are a couple of fun, enjoyable side characters thrown in there along the way. You have Zane McLaren, who is the reservation cop who keeps popping up and trying to keep an eye on them and figure out what they're doing and stuff going on. And there's a lot of great cameos, like Uncle Brownie, played by Gary Farmer, is a lot of fun. And you have all these great side characters. There's elements that are really impressive that bring a lot of layers to things, and there's a lot to process. You have moments like one of their mothers, connecting with Garrett Hedlund's character, who's really disturbing because he has this fetishization of Native women, and it's really gross and creepy, and stuff like that exists. You have Bill Burr, who pops up a little bit as the coach who's giving our main character Allura a driver's test, and you get a lot of dimensions there. There's some great supporting characters here popping up, and you have Kenehitio Horn, who is this mythical kind of character who pops up, and she's great. And it's Tanis from Letterkenny, and she was a wonderful surprise popping up in here. And you just have this really fleshed out supporting cast, has different interesting elements. Each episode doesn't just feel like it's unique because it focuses on different themes and stuff, but it poses narratives in very unique and different ways. And it confronts things, and there's supernatural elements to the show. There's spiritual elements to the show. There's things that will challenge you and give fresh perspectives while also staying very relatable. And it's like, even if you haven't lived this exact life, there's a lot of things in the show that these 4 young kids go through that, you've probably been there. And in general, this is a really funny show. But along with it being really funny, there's a lot of depth and emotion that goes into it. It reminds me a lot of Hunt for the Wilder People in that way, where it's balancing that deep, resonant, emotional connections and thematic connections, but also offering something really funny. And this one's, besides a couple of those more spiritual and ethereal elements to the film, to the show, you still get a lot of deep, personal, and grounded elements as well. And the staging of the different episodes with all the different kinds of stories, whether it's like going out hunting or being stuck at the emergency room all day and different kinds of stuff like that, you've had different kinds of experiences like that. And not only is it able to, like I said, balance the things that feel very relatable and interesting to the human perspective, but also giving you something interesting and new for you to dig into as well. You have 4 very unique and interesting and fun lead characters here, and then all these crazy characters along the way that fill out the rest of the story. This is an absolute delight of a show, and it's funny, it's resonant, it's something that'll last with you, and you'll learn something from it. I think that's the biggest compliment about this show, is that it hits a lot of emotions and hits deep. And this will be a worthwhile and meaningful experience. So head on over to FX on Hulu and give Reservation Dogs a watch. But those are my thoughts on the show. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.